Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
We got a lot of things to talk about. Cheese in the trunk. We've got
Boys in the boat.
poop, throw up, and pee. All of it. A wild day yesterday. But first things first. Today's show will wrap up the second to last week of shows here on Twitch for us. Next week, there'll be a final 3 shows. And then we go on our little holiday hiatus, if you will.
Is that a new Hallmark movie?
Holiday hiatus? Should be.
Definitely should be.
What was that movie? It was on Netflix, right? That everyone thought was like Us. It was radio people that like pretended to date and then started to date and then didn't date and then started to date again.
Okay, you added so much to it.
I don't know. There was something stupid.
We talked about the movie, but it made me cry so hard.
Why?
Because it was Us. And
no, it wasn't. There was nothing about that movie that was Us. What about that movie was Us, other than 2 people that worked in radio? Is it called Radiothon or something?
No, there's another one. Holiday Rush. A widowed radio DJ and his 4 spoiled kids need to tighten their belts and pull together. That's another one. Oh, Midnight at the Magnolia.
Midnight at the Magnolia. And why do you think that movie? Read the description of the movie. What do we got?
Longtime friends and local radio hosts Maggie and Jack fake it as a couple for their families and listeners in hopes of getting their show syndicated.
Yeah, like none of that.
It's just funny though, because like, no one in radio wrote that movie.
Probably
Maybe that's why they made fun of us on that show, thinking like we were them, because they said that we weren't actually dating. Remember that on that radio show? Oh
yeah, I don't expect that radio show to be that thoughtful or creative. What do we have here in the chat? Oh, thank you for the 100 bits, Meg. We are in Hype Train Level 5, which means once we complete that and get into Hype Train Level 6, we might take our first shot in over a month here.
Wild. A few things happened here. Fred the Mailman said, if holiday hiatus happens, then CM would leave Tones for an ex who inherited a Christmas tree farm from his grandpa. But then I come back because a hiatus isn't forever.
I feel like if there was a holiday movie about you, Carla Marie, I think for the irony of it, because you hate snow globes, you would have to fall for someone who's like a snow globe manufacturer of some sort, like an old school family business. And I think it would have to be back in North Arlington, New Jersey.
Oh, no offense.
Maybe they had like a snow globe manufacturing plant in Patterson. And that's like where everything goes down.
Or like maybe they're like really bad for the environment. And I'm the person that's coming to town to be like protesting outside of their place.
Oh, but then you fall in love and you understand that there's...
No, and then I change the snow globe business.
No.
Haven't you ever seen a Hallmark movie? No, you haven't.
No, it's the person who hates the Christmas thing ends up falling in love with the Christmas thing.
No, if it's bad for the environment, it's always...
Like what?
I just told you.
No, other than snow globes. Like what? Well, give me an example.
Every Christmas movie, there's like the rich person that's ruining something, that's commercializing Christmas.
Yes.
And the other person's coming to fix this and stop their business because they're ruining Christmas and Christmas tree farms and small family businesses.
What was the Lindsay Lohan movie?
One. I was just thinking
because that was actually not bad.
I forget what it's called, but it's like a small hotel.
Yeah.
With Cord Overstreet.
Who's Cord Overstreet? He's the guy?
Yeah. His brother is in, not Boys Like Girls, but the other one. He was from Glee. Cord Overstreet's from Glee.
Okay.
Really big mouth. Super hot, dude.
Oh, we just hit Hype Train Level 5.
6.
I see
Jordan moving around back there. Our shot girl.
Our shot elf?
I'm so excited, though.
Sleepless in Snow Globe, said Lenny from Queens. That's going to be your movie, Carla Marie.
Lindsay's movie was so good, but what Cord Overstreet brother is Nash Overstreet. Okay, know that.
So was he in Metro Station?
It's not Metro Station.
Nash?
Hot Shell Ray.
Hot Shell Ray, that's the one.
What's their song?
Hot Shell Ray. Tonight?
Tonight,
right? Isn't that Hot Shell Ray?
There's a party on the rooftop, and everybody's going to go. How does it go?
Top of the world, something like that. They would come in and do interviews with our Saturday show in New York, with Romeo's show, and they were all really nice guys.
Yeah, they were great. I interviewed them on for like some TV show thing I was doing once.
Does anyone know it was Midnight at Magnolia at the Magnolia was the radio Christmas movie. And what was Lindsay Lohan's? Did we find out?
Then there's
she
the
skis
one
and crashes and then forgets who she is.
That is one thing we do have to do. Maybe next Friday when we do our Christmas dinner, we'll watch a cheesy Hallmark movie.
Sure.
But we need people to vote the best one. Falling for Christmas was Lindsay Lohan.
That's right, because she fell and she bumped her head.
And then the Nina Dobrev Christmas one is called Love Hard. Love that one.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Came out last year.
Shots.
Oh,
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay, it's called The Snowball, right?
This is the first shot we've had since October, right?
Jordan. Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks, Jordan.
It's a shooter, and it's got 1 part brandy, 1 part peppermint schnapps, 1 part white creme de cacao. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the end.
And then you fill a cocktail shaker halfway with ice, add all the ingredients, secure the lid, and shake vigorously until thoroughly chilled, strain into a shot glass. Cheers to you, Carla Marie. Cheers to Jordan. Thank you for making the shot. And cheers to everyone who supported the stream this morning.
Do you remember when I used to have to be in charge of this?
Ooh. It's like a peppermint patty.
Ooh.
That was good. That was very enjoyable.
I do like that. I did like that a lot.
Yeah. I do like the feeling in your face.
I feel so clean right now in my
after
mouth.
peppermint. Yeah.
Also, apparently, speaking of snowballs, it's snowing in New Jersey.
Oh, cool.
News to me.
All right. Well,
Literally.
moving on. So, you know me. I'm
so red.
I will always defend parents of actual humans when people with
Today's show
animals say they are parents. Animals and only animals, I should say. But for the first time, I think I finally understood. I don't think there's a 1-to-1 comparison here, but I understood.
There might be a 4-to-1 comparison. We have 4.
I understood what parents might go through when they have multiple kids and they all have a problem in the same day.
It's funny you're saying this because we haven't talked about this at all. Like that this was a moment yesterday to have this thought because I was in bed last night and I was like, I feel like the mom of several toddlers and I don't think that I like it.
So there was from 3 different cats. We had a pee problem, a puke problem, and a poop problem all in the same day, all at different times. So it just never really stopped throughout the day. Well, there was a trip to the emergency room.
Okay.
There
the
was
doctor.
There's an emergency
it
room.
was
no?
in the ER. She went to the regular doctor.
Oh, okay. So a trip to the doctor. It was an emergency trip to the doctor. There was a lot going on. Who was the first one?
Well, it all goes back to when we wake up in the morning.
Oh, Tuesday night.
Well, yeah, but we don't know anything happened. So
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning. I see John sitting outside of the old studio door, which is closed. And I see, because Anthony kept the red lights on in there that we used to have behind us. And it looked like they were flickering. And I was like half asleep. And I'm like, no, they're good. But why is he sitting there? Whatever. I should have known better. I don't think anything of it. I go work out at Orange Theory. I come home. And Anthony says to me,
I said Erica was locked in the studio last night. And we had like sound dampening panels in there, the foam panels. She ripped all those up, knocked everything off of my desk, knocked a backpack over, took some couch cushions and threw them around. It was wild in there.
and I feel so bad because like we didn't hear her, obviously.
Yeah.
John was sitting outside the door, like clearly trying to tell us, like,
yeah.
but he didn't do that good of a job this time. Last time it happened, it did. He did. Then Anthony goes to wherever he went, the gym somewhere, and I'm at home and I'm like, well, that's poop on our duvet cover. It wasn't like someone pooped on it, but it was Caroline, I found out.
Dingleberries.
Had like poop on her butt and it got on the cover. So now I'm stripping the bed. Gotta clean the bed. So now the room is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a bed's unmade, stuff's everywhere. Okay. We have to film a bunch of videos for the day. So we go out, we grab food, we come home, we're sitting there eating, and Max vomits.
Which isn't a big deal, because if you have had cats, they have fur balls and hair balls, I should say.
But then Max vomits again. Then Max vomits again. And then Max vomits again, all in a 15-minute period.
All in different places.
Yes. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call the vet. They're like, all right, get her here by 5. And then Max vomits again. I get her to the vet. She's fine the whole way there. They give her anti-nausea, some fluids under the skin, which TBD, because they think something else is wrong with her, but she's an episode of Dr. House on her own.
Yeah.
And they can't figure it out.
But she's good now.
She's fine. She was eating all of it. We're about to record the podcast from home last night because we still have a mic and everything there. I'm sitting on the couch in the old studio, and I'm like...
The studio that Erica, the cat, was locked in for the night.
And I'm going... And what'd you say? You were like, what? And I was like, it smells like cat pee. And you said something like, I thought I smelled it.
I said, no, there was like I had some old sweaters because we're going through a lot of our old clothes and stuff in storage to try to get rid of some things. I had some old Z100 sweaters. And I had noticed there was like a spot on one of them, but I thought maybe it just was like somehow damaged in storage. So I didn't really think anything of it.
Sure enough.
Turns out Erica peed on the sweater.
All of them.
Yeah, there's
drenched
4 of them.
In pee. Which
Don't tell anyone that because I'm going to, after we wash them, I'm going to offer them to some people who are still at Z100. So
I'm going to the store to get the enzyme cleaner. So and then I was like, I can't even be mad at her because she was locked in here. And
I'd also pee in there.
I don't know if she was scared or she just had to go.
She might have just had to go.
Because they can't hold it a very long time.
Yeah, but that was like 9 hours that she was in there.
But poor baby.
So
that was our day.
It was just,
Poop,
cat thing
vomit,
after cat thing.
Pee.
But the thing with cats, and if you've had cats, you know this, is sometimes they're good at hiding. So normally when I leave that room that we use, it's our spare bedroom that we use as a side studio.
You locked her in the closet also, you think?
I'll check, I'll scan, and I'll make sure that no one's in there. She must have been sleeping in my laundry because I have a laundry basket in there that the cats love to lay in. So she must have been in there. So I closed that closet door.
The closet door.
Then I closed the bedroom door. And I say that because the closet door was open maybe this much, which means she spent most of the night clawing her way out of it. And cats are funny because they'll use their heads to open things. They'll just keep ramming things with their bodies and their heads to get doors open.
Unless they're, Max, some of them will know to jump on the door to open it, and then other ones will just sit outside with the little crack going, yeah. I'm like, dude, you know what to do here. Yeah. But I'm waiting for John to do something. Although things do come in threes, bad things, which is great. We're done. And
I'm sure that people in this chat who have multiple kids, especially if your kids were all young at the same time, like babies at the same time, I'm sure you've had actual way worse days than this because if one kid is throwing up and one kid's got to go to school, then another kid's running a fever. I think about that all the time. There are 7 years between me and my youngest brother. And there's a middle one in there too. So my mom at one point had a newborn, a 2-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Or 6 or 7, whatever.
That's actually wild to think about.
You had someone in their terrible twos just running around. You had me who was, I knew how to walk and talk at that time, and I'm just probably causing a ruckus. And then an infant. And
your mom was breastfeeding?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I'm sure it is. And listen, love my dad. Not the most helpful person around the home. So, also, but I think, rating our dads, because I'm sure your dad probably was somewhat similar. I'm sure your mom handled most of the child responsibilities.
My dad is great, unbelievably great with kids. Loves holding kids.
Oh, so is my dad.
Can feed them. But lately I've been noticing, he doesn't, change my niece's diaper. He'll be like, oh, here, and give it to my mom. And I'm like, sir, you've had,
7 daughters?
You've had 7 kids, and you've been around 5 of them as infants.
Oh, I guess, 2 of them he met older.
And I'm like, are you kidding? And I'll never forget when...
Sorry. By the way, when I say met older, it's not like he met his biological children at a later date. It was part of it was from stepkids. There you go.
So when my mom, sister, and 2 nieces were originally supposed to come out here, Alyssa ended up staying back. She couldn't come, whatever. Alyssa is Michael's mom. Michael is now my 3-year-old nephew. And I was telling my dad, this is what I'm going to do. They're all going to come out here. He's like, who's going to stay with Michael? I said, his father? And he was like, he's going to be with him alone? And I was like, maybe he can go to you. He's like, oh, I can't take care of him. I'm like, what do you mean, dude? Like, what do you mean?
But I saw a meme recently, and it was something about how apparently, like, fathers became a thing about 7 years ago. Right? Like, and I'm not trying to insult any father in here, but I think this generation, people who are currently raising babies, I think it has become normal to expect more of the father than maybe 2 or 3 definitely 3 generations ago, but even a generation prior. Right?
I think that there's a lot of factors playing into it. There's the factor of like women are just like, I'm not just a fit 1950s housewife. Like, you got to do more. There's the factor that 2 people have to work to survive today.
We've talked about that a lot.
It is almost very hard to just be a 1 income household. So unless you're like super rich, just basic level and below, you have to be a 2 income household. So you have to co-parent. But also just men are put on blast more. So for not being an equal partner, or equal to an extent.
There's also the part of society now that our parents didn't deal with. When your dad went to work, for example, he was just gone for the day. When my dad went to work, he was just gone until he came back. Yes, you could call their business, but you only did that in an emergency.
You only called your mom anyway at work.
But like your mom wouldn't be able to just call your dad for any random thing. Or text your dad any random thing when he was working. Today, between all the different messaging platforms we have, texting, DMs,
FaceTime.
All of it. You
can also FaceTime.
They're connected more. Parents are connected more to one another. Therefore, they're connected, hopefully, to their kids a little better. And I think we just expect more of dads today. I think the culture has shifted a little bit. So I try not to...
Yes, we 100% expect more, but also we just expect equal. And I'm not saying 50-50 always. A relationship isn't that. Parenting isn't 50-50. It switches. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 30-70. I mean, it's back and forth. Yeah. Nothing is ever going to be equal.
Sometimes you got to let your partner just go take a break and go on vacation. It's 100-0.
Yeah.
You know?
And that is the best way to go about it. But the whole 100-0 around the clock.
No, at some point it should average out to 50-50.
Yes. Meg asked a great question. She said, CM, was there ever a time when all of your siblings lived at home with you and Ashley Marie? So, and I've had to explain this before. I know I even drew a map one time on the show. My parents were married.
Here, do it here.
On the other side? No, I don't feel like drawing it today.
Okay.
My parents were married to other people, and then they had kids down here. Okay? They get divorced, get married, and then also have Ashley and I. So there's 7 now. But when my parents got married, they moved in together, and my brother and sister, so Billy and Tina Marie, who I've talked about a lot in the show, my siblings, lived with my parents. My dad's 3 daughters didn't. They lived with their mom. When we were born, we obviously lived in that house.
Yeah.
So my sister was around 15. My brother was 17, maybe turning 18 when I was born. And then Ashley came 3 years later. T moved out at 23 when she got married and then pregnant and had the babies, the girls, the twins who are now 27. My brother didn't move out until 30 when he got married. So my brother was 30. I was 13, it was like the coolest thing ever to like have that time in our lives. Like I lived with my brother until I was 13.
Yeah.
And he was so much older than I was.
Did either of your older siblings, T or Billy, did they ever buy you guys alcohol? No. Never? Like when you were 19 years old, 20 years old, they never bought you alcohol?
I don't
Because I had older cousins that always helped me get alcohol.
No, I don't think so. Maybe T did. Billy definitely did not.
Like I remember calling my cousin Joey, who I didn't really text that often growing up, but I knew he lived by the place that I would get alcohol, so I'd call him and he'd buy it for me.
Nah, when we didn't, no. But so at one point, my parents had let's say, Ashley, I'm trying to think. So T was 23 when she moved out. I'll use that age. So she's 23, Billy's 25. So they have a 25-year-old male, a 23-year-old female, 23 minus 15 is an 8-year-old female, and a 5-year-old female.
Yeah.
So 5, 8, 23, and 25.
And you guys all lived in the house together.
One bathroom.
Yeah.
One toilet,
parents.
one shower, and with 2 parents. Yeah. So it was just wild times. Like sometimes like we forget about that we all like lived together. And now because everyone's got their own kids and their kids have kids.
But it's interesting going back to just dads doing different things today than they did then.
Yeah.
I try and sometimes we'll give my dad crap, and my mom will definitely give him crap for the lack of things that he did. But I always try to remind myself that was normal. It's not my dad wasn't like a bad dad in comparison to anyone around him. That was just the way things were. And that was towards the time where you could still have a single income household. Mm-hmm. And it started shifting right around that time. So my mom would work with my dad oftentimes, but if she needed to, she would do stuff with us. So it was kind of like, I wouldn't call it a part-time job, but there was some leeway there, right? Like if she needed to be there during the holidays, she was, because my dad's a jeweler and holiday season is crazy. But during the summer, if she needed to take us to games or whatever, that's what she handled that while my dad stayed at work.
Yeah, my parents both worked full-time jobs. I've talked to my mom about this before, and I think her maternity leave was like 2 weeks.
That makes sense. I mean, we still don't have maternity leave here.
2 weeks is insane. You're still...
No, I'm not saying it's good. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that is a good thing. I'm saying it makes sense here in America where we don't protect maternity leave.
I'm asking my mom right now.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to misquote me there or misunderstand me. It makes sense is very different than saying, I like that. Oh, this is a question from AMS06. So whose side did the Marie come from? Your mom or your dad's side?
My mom.
Yeah. Is your mom the first of the Maries?
Yes. She's named after my great-grandma. We had her on to explain it. I don't even.
So your great-grandma was the first Marie?
Yeah.
Or was her first name Marie?
No. Anna.
So where did the Marie come from?
My grandma named my mom Anna Marie for a reason. I forget what it was.
Okay. But so your mom was the first one?
Yeah.
And then your mom said, I like this middle name so much.
No.
First name. Your mom's first name is Anna Marie.
Yes.
But which one of your siblings has Marie as their middle name?
None. Ashley's birth certificate is accidentally hyphenated.
Okay.
She's the only one with the hyphen. So she's the only one that never has a problem.
Got it.
With it being listed as a first name because it's hyphenated. I might do it just because I might. My mom said I collected disability.
Martha said the fact that paternity leave is only 2 days is complete BS. Mikey had to use vacation days.
So insane. I mean, Colorado just did it for this month. I don't know when it kicks in, but they just okayed it for 12 weeks, no matter what.
Family care, essentially.
Whether you foster a kid, adopt a kid, pop one out yourself, or have to deal with a sick family member. It's 12 weeks, which is a start.
Yeah, I think 12. I mean, 12 weeks is 3 months. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, but if you work at Facebook, no matter what, you get 6 months.
Yeah. If you don't live in America, you get way more. So
yeah.
There's that.
Move to another country.
12. Mark said 12 weeks starting January 1st. So I wonder how many women are out there right now, just like squeezing as hard as they can. Like, don't pop out yet.
So iHeart, our former company, didn't have maternity leave. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a thing. If you lived in a state that forced it, Washington, you would get some amount of time. They started it, I think, like 2 years ago in January. We had a friend who worked in radio at iHeart who was pregnant, and she was like, I'm just hoping I can go till January 1st, and she didn't.
Yeah.
Which is beyond infuriating. It's kind of like inhumane to a certain level of
like what a stupid kid, right? They just had to come out.
Right. She just had to do that.
She just had to come out in December like an a-hole.
Just give it to her. She's been with the company her whole life.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so awful.
Okay, so here's the question. I don't know how this worked with iHeart. If the new rule was going to take effect in January, does that mean that our friend who had the baby in December, does that mean she just had to, like, bridge the gap with vacation or sick days, or does it not count at all?
I don't think it counted at all.
That sucks.
Which is bizarre because you're still caring for that person that just came out of you.
Yeah.
I don't 100% know, so don't quote me on that. But I remember I'm 22 years old and I get hired full-time at Elvis. Working for iHeart. And Danielle Monero says to me, I'll never forget this moment. She walked out of the studio. She's like, by the way, there's no maternity leave here, so don't use your sick days.
Yeah. Save them all up. I love this.
And guess what? I still got them.
She's my best friend missed 6 weeks of paternity leave by 3 days because his kid was born before November 1st.
They have forged the birth certificate.
Listen, I know every parent says, like, the day your first kid is born is like the best day of your life, and you fall in love with that kid, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to hate a kid, that's the reason. You couldn't wait 3 days. Selfish a-hole.
I cannot.
I also think the other thing with men and their, I would say, expanded role as parents in modern day parenting.
Their normal role?
No, I think part of it is also the fact that in the past 4 years, you think about kids that were born during the pandemic. If their parents were lucky enough to have remote jobs at that time, you had no excuse anymore, right? Even if you didn't have paternity leave, you were still home. And you and your wife were probably doing the same type of remote work, so you helped more. And now there are so many jobs that are more flexible, whether they're fully remote still, or like my brother's job, who he's got, I think, 2 remote days a week. So you're expected to do more because you are now home. Now, granted, you're still supposed to be working from home, but that doesn't mean you can't pick up a kid when it's crying or change a diaper.
And it's also crazy to think that if you're a biological parent of woman of having a baby, right?
Yeah.
Not adopting, obviously. That is also comes with a whole different slew of adjustments. But I'm talking about like how if you're a woman who has a baby come out of your body, whichever way.
How many ways can it come out of your... Well, there's 2 ways, I guess, it can come out of your body.
Yes.
Okay.
Today, Anthony learned.
No, the way you said it, I was like, how do you expect it to come
out? Comes out whichever way. That you're expected to stay home by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, the guy doesn't get any time off.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to, this is so great. I get maternity leave to stay home while my body's either hemorrhaging from one spot or healing in another spot. I have a major surgery. Some women, major surgery.
Yeah.
Your abs are cut in pieces.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to solely be responsible for taking care of that human.
Crazy.
Like, paternity leave should almost be more important.
Interesting. Jess said my husband gets more paternity leave than I get maternity leave. Oh, where'd it go? If we have another, we'll stack it. Is that based on what each of you guys do for work?
I have seen people do this, and it's smart. Like, okay, baby's born. The dad will use some vacation or sick days or whatever. Then the mom takes her maternity leave. And then when she has to go back to work 3 months later or whatever it is, he takes his paternity.
Yeah.
Which is
you can
great.
stagger it a little bit. You don't have to take it immediately when the child is born.
So I got confirmation from my mom
Okay.
about her maternity leave in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
And where was she working?
I guess only 80s, 90s. She was working at the Meadowlands racetrack.
Okay.
Because she was 17 when my siblings were born, so she was in high school. No maternity leave there.
Okay.
She said she had 6 weeks before and 8 weeks after.
Oh, 6 weeks before.
I feel like that 6 weeks before was a waste.
Yeah, maybe like 3 weeks before.
6 weeks before, 8 weeks after, but her doctor extended it for 4 weeks.
Oh, cool.
But that's disability. So that's 60% of your pay from the year before.
Well, yeah, even in most countries where they mandate some sort of leave, some sort of family leave, you're not getting your exact salary. You're normally getting especially in most of the Nordic countries that really like helped push this and make it common practice. You get 80% of the year before, which means
that's big,
let's say you do back-to-back babies, right? You're now getting 80% of the previous year's 80%.
That's crazy.
But it makes sense.
Yeah, but here's why it doesn't.
Why?
Because the government, they are the people that are like, people aren't having babies. Ah! They're freaking out.
Yeah.
That we're just going to stop and die as humans. It doesn't make any sense. because there's plenty of us.
Mm-hmm.
But they are so up in arms that we're running out of babies.
Yeah.
Then maybe you should make it a little easier.
I still think that's pretty easy. And I think it's a fair compromise. Because at some point, if you haven't worked for 3 years, what are you even getting paid to do?
Give the government their babies.
What do we have here in the chat? There was something.
Ben said, when my kids were born, I got no leave and used a strike against me to be with my wife for a few days after her C-section.
That's crazy.
Are you still working for that company?
That
if
is
not,
crazy.
tell us their name.
Or tell us either way.
No.
Rain, good morning. Good to see you in the chat.
Damn.
Jen said, I saw that Kim Jong-un was crying about women not having children.
Okay. Well, maybe he should have one then. Another one.
I feel like Elon Musk complains about that all the
He
time, right?
literally was just quoted, I think it was this week,
Yeah.
how like DINKs, you know what a DINK is?
A dink?
Yeah.
No, what is
Double
it?
income, no kids.
Oh. A dink?
Yeah.
I had never heard that
But then
before.
there's dinked or dinkwad, double income, no kids with a dog.
Okay.
We're dink whack, I guess.
Okay. So what is his problem?
He was like, they're selfish. They brag about the wrong things. Like he's all mad because there's this whole trend on social media of dinks talking about the fact that like,
double income, no kids. Yeah.
yeah, like we have no kids. We can just sleep in.
We're also not dinks.
Wait,
We're ninks. No income, no kids.
but it's all about, I'm a single income, no kid.
There you go.
Love it. But it's all about how, because they're like bragging on social media or just saying like, hey, listen, like your life, you have kids. That's what you've wanted. That's beautiful. But also, you know what is beautiful? The fact that I can be like, hey, do you want to go to Europe tomorrow? Let's go. But there are it's so funny because I wanted to talk about this today. I love reading the comments on random reels on Instagram to see what fires people up. And there was one couple that did of course we're dinks. And it was like the whole, they, listed a bunch of things that were great. We can go to Europe. We can spend $8 on a Starbucks drink. Like if they were very clearly making fun of it, but it was like spend $8 on a Starbucks drink, sleep in till 10 a.m. or we get more than 8 hours of sleep, or we don't have to use our dog or kids as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave. And it was like all different things. And the comments, this one guy was like, this is just so sad. All of the things they are saying make them happy are consumption. Someone's like,
Sleeping isn't consumption.
no. And well, you're consuming sleep.
Okay.
And someone else commented, was like, yeah, but you can also say the same thing. That's like, you need to have a kid to be happy in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people are like, I need to have kids. That's what I want in life. It's like, okay, well, they don't want to have kids. Let them live. Everyone on social media is just trying to be funny and make a joke. It's not that serious.
This is how I feel. I feel the same way about dinks, right? Is that dinks or sinks or ninks, whatever you want to be, having no kids? I feel the same way about that. I feel the same way about people in open relationships. I feel the same way about gay people, trans people. Whatever you do with your private parts is not my problem.
No.
And I'm not going to be concerned.
And I don't care.
You do what you want with your P and your V and leave me alone.
Whatever's there.
Like whatever makes you happy. As long as you're not throwing it in my face, leave me alone.
DJ Sin said, I'm a dildo, double income little dog owner.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Mr. and Mrs. Dink on Doug. Wait, were they?
Were
they double income, no kids? Does this go back to the 90s?
I don't know.
God, you would have been like ostracized in the 90s for double income, no kid, though.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you would have been ostracized in the 90s for.
Being a woman. Not showing your midriff enough.
But anytime you see someone like an Elon, what was that?
Fred. Oh, sorry, not Fred. Lenny. Sio cat. Single income, one kid and turtle.
I love these.
Yeah. I almost did a whole story on the podcast today, but it was like, not convoluted. It was a lot to break down. It was about dinks, and it was all the Business Insider did a whole article and the stats about their money versus double income with kids and everything, and your net worth and the difference. And it's like, it almost makes so much sense, right? If you don't want to have a kid, don't have a kid.
So coming from like an economical standpoint and a government funding standpoint, one of the reasons you'll hear leaders of nations complaining about no kids is because the whole system is generally set up, like Social Security is set up to pay for older people by taxing younger people. Mm-hmm. If you end up without younger people, you can't tax them and you can't provide the thing screwed. That you promised for the older generations.
We're beyond screwed.
There is this idea that for anything in the capitalistic or consumer society, to those systems to work, you just need to keep making people. And then when you talk about people like Elon Musk or any business leaders, the reason they usually complain about no one having kids is because the more people are born, the more likely they are to be working for the Elons of the world. They need workers. And they need workers so long until they can replace those workers with robots. And then they won't care how many kids are born. Like if we had literal, this is going to sound like crazy and sci-fi-ish of me, but if we had actual robots that could do work, Elon would not care if there were any human beings left.
No, absolutely not. Lenny said this sounds like a pyramid scheme.
It does. It is a pyramid scheme.
Truly. Telling people they need to have kids to be happy is the ultimate MLM.
And I think kids are awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say don't have kids or that you're stupid if you're a parent. I just think, like I said earlier, whatever you do with your P's and your V's, that ain't my problem. But do what you want to do to be happy.
But did you just get sucked into the MLM? Like, think about it. Your parents had kids, then they had kids, and then they had kids. It's the ultimate pyramid scheme.
It is.
Kidding.
Just keeps getting bigger.
Please, God, no. Don't send them for me.
What?
Just the people.
Oh.
Radio Fam said, I've heard that is why Mr. and Mrs. Dink were named that on Doug.
Because they're double income, no kids. Well, we got to do here. We got to do a search here.
Fairly Odd Parents, the Dink.
Mr. and
lost
Mrs. Dink. But there was Bud Dink. Oh, he's Mr. Dink. Okay.
Why is everybody purple?
So they're neighbors.
No, you got to look up, why were they called? Like, again, and I talk about this.
Okay, then you do it. Internet sleuth. Go for it. Why were they named Mr. and Miss Dink? Mr. and Mrs. Dink.
Dink's name stands for double income, no kids, which will explain his ability to produce such very expensive purchases. It's revealed in Doug's dental disaster that Mr. Dink has a set of dentures, which he's had for almost 12 years. Okay?
Great. By the way, that site that you found was the site that I was just on.
But you would have you were searching through the site when you could just use the Google Snacks that they give
I
you.
like source material.
I see it. The Google Snacks are my favorite. If it doesn't come up in Google Snacks, I'm not looking for it. Also, in the Fairly Odd Parents, I think this is what Marie was also saying, a TV series in which the next door neighbors are the Dinkelbergs, are also named in reference to the acronym, being a childless couple who can afford many luxuries.
I never knew their actual name. Dinkelbergs. The Dingleberries. What do you know?
TIL, as the kids say.
Till. Good old Till. What else is on the list, Carla Marie? I feel like we haven't really talked about a lot.
The meat and cheese guy.
Oh, this is great. So we were talking earlier in the show. That actually might have been during the countdown. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize. But we were talking about how Jersey Mike's is actually a pretty good sub shop. Carla Marie finds it difficult to go there in New Jersey when there are so many local, like, Italian delis you can go to.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, your dad, who doesn't buy anything remotely Italian from, like, a grocery store, has to go to the deli or the bread guy or the candy guy.
Wouldn't be caught dead buying mutts from Stop and Shop. Maybe ShopRite, because I don't know what's different.
But he loves Jersey Mike's in New Jersey.
And loves it.
And
that's how authentic it is.
Because your dad likes it. That's how you know it's good.
Like,
well, him and
so
Danny DeVito.
So Jersey.
If Danny DeVito
The
likes
meat
it.
is great.
So we were talking about how your dad has like a cheese guy and a bread guy and a meat guy. But we found out that Carla Marie's sister has a cheese and meat guy as well who does home deliveries and sells out of his trunk.
Yeah, it's not like a meat truck, like an ice cream truck.
It's like this guy's Honda Civic.
100%.
And he pops his trunk.
Yeah, literally.
What kind of car is it? Let me see. Yeah.
So
Let me see.
I didn't show you the photo.
Oh, he's got a hatchback. What are we looking at here? So he has, what does he have in here? Olive oil? No, is that wine or olive oil?
Oh, it's wine.
Oh, he sells wine too.
Seems illegal. So anyway, my sister said, just had a guy come to our house and sell us cheese and meat from his trunk. And I said, like you invited him or he just showed up? She said, invited him, and then sends this photo. 3 meats, 2 cheeses, and a bottle of wine.
What kind of meat?
I'll find out. I think it's prosciutto. She said, all of that was $95, and I gave him $100.
$95?
And we were all like, what? And she's like, it's the same price at like whatever deli we go to. I'm not going to put people on blast. She said, that's provolone, 2 things of supersod. Apparently, he homemade the supersod. So now you're buying homemade supersod out of a man's trunk. Okay. And then my older sister said, no shot. F that. Tell him to stay in Fairfield. The slums of North Arlington can't afford that.
So wait, it's homemade.
Homemade
How do Americans pronounce supersod? What's like
supersada?
Okay.
Which is so weird to say. So then my sister, this is it. Ashley needs to prove that she's right. I guess we all have this gene.
Yeah.
She's now screenshotting from like Walmart, how much it costs to get supersada at Walmart. And she's like, the prevalent was $10. That's cheap. Apparently it's $30 at Walmart. Anyway, she said, this is the good shit. If I had running water, her house was under construction. Okay, anyway.
We don't need the whole chat.
I know. There's something. My brother-in-law said, but nothing is better than roadside trunk of the car food. So then my sister starts calling around to local delis to see how much things cost to prove her point because she's a psychotic.
How much time does she have on her hands?
Okay, wait. She goes, I will never buy supersod from anyone else but Mario. Or probably said Mario.
Okay.
That's this guy's name. He's fluent Italian. And I said, just like us.
Yeah, like she can't even use that.
Okay, so she's claiming that she's right. So then Sal, my brother-in-law, finally eats the food that my sister made him buy from this man. And he goes, Ashley made me buy $60 shitty supersod.
So it wasn't even good. So your sister said she's only buying it from this guy before she ate it?
Tried it.
Because he speaks Italian,
And
which she doesn't.
Yeah.
So the fact that
I speak more Italian than anyone in my family right now.
The fact that he speaks Italian has no bearing on her life whatsoever.
But
it's not like she can talk to him more.
No.
Like I know my dad who speaks fluent Arabic and like that's his native tongue. I could understand if he's like, oh, I go to this place, they speak Arabic, it makes me feel like home.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
She doesn't even know how to say cheese in Italian. Formaggio.
Okay, there you go. Well done,
beef
Carla
is
Marie.
manzo, but that's not beef. I haven't gotten to the prosciutto lesson.
So
I think it's prosciutto.
It is. From everything I've heard online, Italians do not say prosciutto or mozzarella
Prosciutto.
or any of the words that New Jersey and New York Italians use.
Yeah, no.
What do they do? You know how we like to kind of give New York and New Jersey Italians like all the credit for being Italian for some reason in America, but there's also huge Italian populations in Boston and Chicago. Do they butcher words the same way?
I don't know. How do we find that out?
That's a great question.
We went to some Italian restaurants in Boston. We were there.
Which was good. It was very good.
So good.
But do they like have all the fake words?
Jen said absolutely.
Are we sure?
Who do we call?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters? Jinx.
Go to Boston, Boston's North End.
Yeah, we went. It was great.
I'm trying to see if anyone in the chat has ever been to those places.
It's me, Mario.
All right, I guess we don't know. I guess we'll never know. Oh,
we need that sound whenever we talk about something Italian.
If Cheese Dot is still in here, he used to live in Chicago. He would be able to tell us, but I don't know if he's still here.
Okay, so can you put a thing here? What I just hit?
Oh,
I pushed
hold on.
a button.
Mergen said that in Cleveland, they also have a big population, and they do not butcher the words in the Little Italy there.
So what do they say? Mozzarella? Ugh.
What do you want?
I hit that. I don't know if that's bad.
No, it doesn't do anything
Okay.
right now.
We need a button here. Anytime we're going to talk about Italian stuff, to say, it's a me, a Mario.
Okay, I'll work on that. So apparently in Cleveland, the Italians in Cleveland do not butcher the words that New York and New Jersey Italians do. What about Rhode Island when you were there?
That's because in Cleveland, that's Midwest.
Yes, so is Chicago.
Rhode Island, I don't know. I only ate at Butterfield, the dining hall.
Oh, so you never went out in Rhode
I
Island?
will never forget. Actually, it's funny you bring this up. This is I have 5 memories from that college school. I'll never forget. I walk into the dining hall and it had each day there'd be a new pasta. And I go, what is olio olio? What is this thing that I don't know about?
And this is in the dining hall?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just pasta and oil.
Mm-hmm.
And we have it it's for the people that don't eat fish on Christmas Eve. We've had it every year. It's
That's
parsley, garlic, oil. It's really good. But my family calls it aglio, which when you actually look at it in Italian and you say it fast enough, it does kind of sound like that. But I'm going, what is olio olio? I had never seen it written out. And I found out it's aglio.
Yep.
Olio olio.
You know who I want to... I'm going to ask him later, and I'll come back on Monday with the answer. Our friend Frankie P., who works for iHeart in Miami, I believe his dad is fresh off the boat Italian. And I want to ask him what Italians in Miami, if they say different words like we got used to in New York and New Jersey.
Aglio e olio. That is how it's spelled. Yeah, I'm sure.
I would have, by the way, I'd have no idea how to read that word if I saw it on a menu.
Aglio e olio.
Because aioli is always a word that bothers me.
What I'm learning in Italian means is.
So what is that?
So that's not even, and I'm not saying Jen's wrong.
It's
I'm
not
saying
with?
I'm trying to, with is actually colon, but in some situation actually it might be
E with an accent is.
Is, okay.
And E.
Regular E is end. You're right.
Damn, Carla Marie.
No, but look, I actually knew something.
You're learning. I got to give you credit. What day streak are you on here?
34, but they almost kicked me off. They put me down to 0, and Duolingo was like, you will get your streak back if you prove yourself. And I was like, okay. And I did the lesson to get back in, to test back into my level, and I got it all right.
All right, there you go.
So.
Let's see. Scotty said if your friend's dad was fresh off the boat, that would mean...
He's stale off the boat because that was decades ago.
Oh, true. Yeah. Well done, Scotty. Well done. That's actually pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. Speaking of Italian.
Yes.
I am speaking on behalf of the Italians that are too embarrassed to say this. I'm not happy that Tommy DeVito is representing us for New Jersey. It should be me, first of all.
Wasn't Dan Marino? That's why a lot of Italians love the Dolphins. Because they're like, oh, Marino, it's a good Italian man.
Probably. Listen, Tommy Cutlets, as Lisa just called him. I love that Italians in New Jersey are getting this random stage of being called out.
They've been underrepresented for too long.
That's why in Philly they're wearing their Italian flags on their sleeves because Italians do not get enough representation.
All right.
We have all these movies about us saying that we're bad and murderers.
Yeah, but people love it.
So Tommy DeVito, they're calling this the DeVito this hand gesture. I don't know which way to show it, and I'm not here for it at all.
It's kind of like when Tebowing was a thing, when it was just him praying and they called it Tebowing.
It's a little, I guess. If you're really into praying, you're probably mad they were calling it.
Just doing this.
I need it to pass because I'm over it, and I'm scared to go back to New Jersey, and there's just going to be billboards of hey, Tommy DeVito, because they the Giants have nothing.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Listen, I grew up that I have a space in my heart for the Giants, but they are running with this because they've got nothing else.
They have to.
No one goes to games.
Listen, every team and the NFL, it's like the NFL running with Taylor Swift, right? You take whatever people are talking about and you run with it until they stop talking about it and you find something else. So Tommy DeVito doing this as a third-string quarterback for the terrible New York Giants. That's all they got.
I do love seeing everyone in the stands doing it though.
So when he scores, does everyone do it?
They do it all the time. There's players after the game that are like,
That's pretty great. That is pretty great.
Yeah, so it's a lot.
I love the Giants, but they're killing me, says Amanda.
I don't know what that is.
What is what?
Martha I saw someone else do this. I think it's an emoji, but we're not seeing it as an emoji.
I just see a bunch of white dots.
Yeah.
I'm also pretty far away from the monitor.
Unless it's cheese.
Some mozzarella. What else is on the list, Carla Marie?
Chinese food. Wanted to see how many people actually ordered Chinese food the other day.
Since we did have a very extensive talk about Chinese food, we couldn't remember how we got into that discussion.
But then we figured it out, but I don't remember it anymore.
It doesn't matter. How many people actually went out and either Tuesday or maybe yesterday got Chinese food?
I know Jen and Lisa did.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up going to Panda Express.
I said, Carla Marie, you pick a place. But if you don't pick soon, we're going to Panda, and you couldn't pick a place.
I couldn't.
So.
Okay, Lenny made Chinese food.
It's pretty good. Probably much better than what we had. Although, did you make orange chicken? Because that stuff is delicious.
I can't wait. I might do a whole video about my trip to Bergen Dragon when I'm home.
You should.
Ooh, Tacoma Swifty got honey garlic chicken yesterday.
Nice.
Okay.
I made Chinese pork and rice. That's awesome.
Zeke from NYC got Thai food on Tuesday.
Similar. Not the same, but similar.
Accept it. I do love Thai food. Anthony, you don't like it as much as I do.
Not the biggest fan.
I don't know why.
What's the main dish that people get?
Pad Thai.
Yeah, I'll do that.
But Pad See-Ew is very similar to chicken and broccoli. Very similar.
I'll try it.
Panda Express yesterday.
There you go.
I love it. I do want to see.
What's closer to Chinese food, Thai food or Panda Express?
Thai food.
Probably Thai food in terms of being authentic from anywhere.
Okay, also on the list today, I have the Cookbook Club's favorite things tonight.
Explain that.
Cookbook Club is the group of my friends and I who we pick one cookbook and we each make a recipe from that cookbook and we go to one person's house and eat all the food. It's something we do monthly. But today is something that they've actually done without me because they all went to high school together. They've done favorite things every year. And I talked about it back in October, how they invited me to be a part of favorite things. Mm-hmm. And now, since it's my first year, I'm so stressed. Why? Are they going to like my gifts? I can't talk about what I got yet, just in case they're watching.
How many gifts does everyone have to buy? One thing?
There's a kind of a dollar amount, around $50 per person is what we...
So you have to spend $50 on everyone that's there. How many people are there?
Madison, Megan, Lindsay, Tatum, me. I keep thinking there's 6 of us.
So there's only 4 people you have to buy for. You're not buying for yourself.
So $200.
Plus food you're bringing.
Yes. That's where this is going. And I ended up getting actually 3 gifts per person in that price range, which I'm very excited about. I have to wrap them today. But I feel like there's so much pressure on me since I'm the noob here. And my gifts are going to be judged.
Okay.
But for the food part, since it's Cookbook Club, we're actually doing a board night.
Like board games?
Nope. So everyone is bringing a board of something.
Oh, like a cheese board or
like
a butter
charcuterie
board
or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm on candy board duty.
That's fun.
I chose that one. I'm very excited. I went to Sweet Mickey's. It's a local candy shop here in Ballard. So good. And I got they had all the Christmas candies, and I'm so excited today to put it out on the board and make it look cute. I'm really hoping that's what happens and it's not a shit show. Yeah. But I got
candy. No one's gonna
someone
else
is
complain.
Dessert board, which is going to be cakes and cupcakes probably.
So the candy board and the dessert board
That's
go out
why
at the same time?
Trying not to do too much candy, too much chocolate candy, and trying to stick to the gummies of the world. So,
Twizzlers pull and peel?
No, they weren't on the list.
Oh man, so good.
I guess I get them. Actually, that'd be good because they're red. And then someone else is in charge. Someone's doing a veggie board, and then I think someone's doing an appetizer board, which is mott sticks, chicken tenders,
That's cool.
Fries, all that. So I'm very, very excited.
That's awesome. That's going down tonight?
Tonight.
All right, so we'll hear about that on Monday, I'm sure?
Nope.
No? Oh, because you're not here on Monday. Then you go out to Canada.
I go to Canada tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm going on a field trip with my classmates.
I mean, you kind of are. So explain why you're going there.
So the Seahawks and Canada are friends. This part of Canada, on this side, the west side of Canada, is part of the Seahawks official region now.
Mhm.
So we are going up there to do several events this weekend. First one kicks off late tomorrow afternoon in Vancouver. We're doing a flag football camp. Saturday morning, I get to ski with Blitz
That's cool.
at Whistler. And then we do a flag football camp at Whistler. And then Sunday, when the Seahawks play the 49ers in San Francisco, we're doing a watch party from a bar in Whistler Village.
Nice.
And I'm hosting the flag football camps. I'm doing social content at all of them and social content with Blitz on the mountain. And then on Sunday, I'm hosting the watch party.
And then you come back Monday afternoon.
Morning. Well, yeah, we leave Monday morning by the time I get back.
Nice.
But Anthony has to drive me to the VMAC tomorrow,
Yes.
which is where the Seahawks offices are. And I get to get out of the car with my bags like a little kid on a field trip.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
I might even do, because I know there's an LA Fitness in that area. I might do a random LA Fitness workout.
Wow.
Just see how the other side lives, you know?
That'd be cool.
We'll see. I might miss my people too much.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see what happens. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Don't forget there is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast available wherever you get your shows. We'll be doing that today and tomorrow. And then I will be here solo on Monday trying to hold it down for a whole hour.
Maybe I'll call in or something.
No, we're good.
And if you are in New Jersey, and especially in South Jersey, my brother's restaurant, Cinder's Steakhouse, next weekend, but I want to get this on your radar now, is doing a brunch with Santa on Saturday,
Oh, cool.
the 16th. And then on Sunday is brunch with Mickey and Minnie.
All right.
So if you're interested, you can let me know. Go to Cinder's Steakhouse. All the info's there. But
Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you on Monday. Carla Marie doesn't care about you. Peace out.